Chal, let's go.
Rolling.
Ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
You are starting, no?
Yeah.
So start now.
It's a part of it.
It's recording.
Yeah. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. That was a bit of a soft start. Welcome to the PowerDrift Podcast. Vikas is doing hand gestures from behind the camera there and distracting all of us. Anyways, welcome, guys. To everybody who's watching on YouTube, welcome. To everybody who's listening to the podcast on the various podcast channels that you get your podcast from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc.
Google, wherever.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to have a main discussion today, which is something that we've been arguing about for like donkey's years in the office.
Varun has been.
And there are very extreme
Useless
views on this. Is basically good or bad feature, or like rather
Features in general.
features in general, which are like useless and not useless, etc.
Which I think are useless, but you guys clearly.
And then, of course,
Think
do
otherwise.
wait till the
You might be surprised by what I have to add.
Yeah, let's do it.
wait till the end of the podcast where we discuss our music choices for this week. That's something that we've been doing in every podcast for the last couple of weeks now. And we're going to make our playlist, and the playlist links will be in the descriptor below, as will the songs of the week. Okay, so let's kick it off. Varun, what is the one... it's going to be a very animated discussion. What's the one feature you hate?
No, I think let's set up some context first. Like features in general have changed the automotive industry. You know, 20 years ago when you started driving cars and when I was introduced to cars, the car was a basic shell. It was how 2 wheels and an engine are for motorcycles. It was literally 4 wheels and an engine for cars and a steering wheel. So it was pretty
depends on
simple.
what sort of price the car was at, but yeah.
Yeah, but for the masses. Let's
For
stick
the
to the
masses,
masses. Yeah. So it was very basic. It was a very basic setup. And, you know, through the years, features have been introduced. And back in the day when a new feature was born, it was like, wow, what a feature. But it used to be super expensive. But then it became massy. And you see these features in massy cars as well. So features, yeah, for sure, have been a game changer for the automotive industry over the years. But there are some features that are good. There are some features that are not so good. And I want to start things off with good features. Especially when we talk about motorcycles. And I'm going to talk about motorcycles. One of the key things that sort of made motorcycles safer in terms of safety is ABS.
Dual channel.
Dual channel ABS. Of course, manufacturers found a loophole with the single channel ABS.
Or combi brakes and stuff.
Combi brake, but ABS.
I mean, it at least help the scooter stop quicker, right?
Absolutely. But just the introduction of an anti-lock braking system is it's a game changer.
Especially for faster bikes like those 600 cc's and above.
Dude, you won't believe this, but before 2008, there used to be liter class motorcycles.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, why 2008? Even after that. I remember the first
2010,
CBR 1000. No, even after that. I
2011 had it. The Blade had it.
CBR 1000 RR in 2012 I rode was without ABS.
No, not possible.
But it
2011.
was like the older bike. The last.
Correct. 2011 it had it for
Because
sure.
I rode it. I remember I was riding back from Bandra to the other, and it rained.
Oh.
And I parked
worst.
it. I said, I'm not riding it
But
in
this
the rain.
thick behind did not give you traction?
No. I was thinner then. But no, in
Massive
any case,
A-drag.
and you know the funny thing is today I would not buy a big bike. I mean, I like older bikes, but I would not buy, with the exception of one, a big bike or any bike today without ABS. I just wouldn't buy it.
100%. I'm so used to ABS now that if I go back to a motorcycle which does not have ABS, it just puts me in a different zone with how I want to brake, how I want to turn the motorcycle, stuff like that. So ABS in general has been like a real game changer. I think one of the game-changing innovations or just a feature in cars will be what? Airbags?
Well, airbags and depends on how far back you want to go, because airbags and 3-point safety belts and stuff happened like in the 70s.
Okay.
You know, between the Mercedes S-Class and Volvo doing its thing, safety has come up such a huge level. Everybody who says older cars are safer because their metal is thicker and all is absolute, like they're talking out of their behinds. If you put a modern Alto up against, the simplest example I say is, what do you think is safer? A base model Alto, like the cheapest Alto you can buy, or an Ambassador? Everybody says, of course, Ambassador. But I guarantee you, if you have a crash in an Alto, you will probably survive. If you have a crash in the Ambassador at the same speed, you will probably die.
Okay.
Forget Ambassador. Let's take a big Cadillac from the 60s. Okay. Or let's take a Mercedes from the 60s. Well engineered and stuff like that. Or even let's go one step further. Chalo. Let's say a Mercedes from the 80s versus say a modern, small, versus a Nexon. You'll probably survive better in the Nexon.
Okay.
It
But
doesn't
that's also
matter.
because the next one is 5-star? Is it?
It is.
Next one is 5-star.
Yes.
Creta. Chalo. 3-star, right? You'll still survive better probably in a Creta.
Why is that?
Because the way the cars are made now versus where they were made earlier, like the development in crumple zones, the development in airbag technology, the development in just
Metallurgy
safety,
as well, maybe?
not necessarily, but the development in how energy is dissipated from a crash has grown substantially. And of course, the big development across the, there are two things that have really developed in cars. One's reliability and one safety. Cars are not necessarily faster. I mean, they are, but you had fast cars, you had cars that handle well, you had cars that braked well. The one big difference in cars in general is reliability, generally, much reliable now. And of course, the safety aspects. And the one big, huge jump in tech for a single component, of course, has been tires.
Okay.
The tires from the 90s versus tires, like the absolute best tire, forget the 90s, the absolute best tire from the 2000s versus a mid-range tire today. The mid-range will be grippier, the mid-range will be safer, better braking distance in the rain, all of that.
What you need to understand is when there is an impact in a four-wheeler, because what you said is absolutely correct, spot on, that impact needs to be transferred.
Correct.
Energy needs to be
Yes,
transferred,
if you have a very strong metal sitting between you and the object that you're crashing into, that energy is going to be your body is going to absorb all of that change in inertia and all of that.
Yeah. That's actually, it's very similar to how helmets are nowadays. Like the difference between a good helmet, like a world-class helmet, and a very basic helmet. It's energy dissipation. If you hit your head, how the liner absorbs it and dissipates it, it's actually similar tech. But it's a great point.
Speaking about features that you were asking Cyrus about, new cars, they also have ADAS.
Yeah.
And I know expensive cars come with a lot of automated features, but basic stuff like a blind spot monitor,
Yeah.
reversing camera, parking sensors,
Yeah.
these are things that have made, because see, our cities
Like
are getting
you
more
need these,
congested.
right?
Yeah.
Now we've got parking sensors as standard.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Eventually, I'm guessing reversing camera probably may or may not be standard. I don't know. We don't need it. I think parking sensors can be done. But eventually, emergency assists, braking and lane keep probably will be something that might become standard. Because emergency assistance actually saves lives. It's simple. We've said that in the Innova video. I'm saying it again. If you have an option to buy a car with ADAS, buy the car with ADAS. If you can afford it, then buy it. Look, how much is your family's life worth? It's as simple as that.
Definitely,
Right? Your child's in the passenger seat. How much is her life or his life worth?
Because
Can you put a figure on it? You can't. Right?
you can't,
So then
right.
buy the bloody ADAS car.
It might just be one day of your entire life.
That's all you need, right?
Yeah, that's all you need. Where you're a little drowsy, maybe you have just taken some heavy medication and you're not able to drive in the perfect state of mind. Could be something else apart from medication. Who knows? We don't
should not be
suggest.
doing that, but yeah.
We're not suggesting that, but who knows? It could be your driver who's not, informed.
Or
that
just
he's gone.
generally somebody like pulling out in the middle of the
It's
road.
just-
like,
it can
like
be
a
just
cow.
bad
It is
luck.
life-saving. Yeah.
It just can be bad luck.
Bad luck.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes.
So of course, safety features, every single safety feature added in, irrespective of what the price point that gets added into it. We as journalists, we as people, it should be our duty to support it. I mean, yes, cars are getting more expensive, but
They're also getting safer.
it's life and death. It's as simple as that. And it's a no-brainer from my end. I would rather pay that more.
Yeah, adding to that bit of luck and stuff like that, there are smaller motorcycles that now come with traction control. And everybody's complaining, why does a small motorcycle need traction control? And my answer or response
What's
to
the
that is,
smallest motorcycle with traction?
I think the FZ gets it now.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the 1.5?
Yes. So my
that's
response to that is, it's one day, one
First
moment.
rain. I mean, this.
You will need it.
Yeah.
It might kick in, you might even know, probably you might know, and that is where you'll end up thanking that system where
It can be something as simple as, you're riding a bike on an unknown road
Yeah.
and the surface changes. All of a
Yeah,
sudden
yeah,
from
yeah.
concrete,
That's
you're
it.
on
Like a
stretch
gravelly
of,
stretch, yeah, like-
and you've
it
lost
just goes, your
you've
rear
lost the
steps
grip.
out and instead of a
Or-
high side, it just corrects it, cuts par, corrects it.
Or as we have, I mean, we're approaching the monsoon season, right? Of course, this episode's probably going to go out
In the middle of monsoon,
when
yeah.
the
When it's
monsoons already
raining.
hit like most places in India, south at least, south and central, but in the north probably not. And the first monsoons are notorious for people like dropping their bikes, falling, having crashes. People die left, right, and center. It's just very unfortunate. I mean, I didn't know that something as small as a 150cc motorcycle gets traction control. That's phenomenal.
Even Aerox gets it now.
Yeah.
The
You know the
2020.
funny thing though, as much as I like combi brakes and stuff on like a scooter, I also like the ones without it, like the older stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be just a little playful, you can like just slide the back
Yeah,
around.
sure.
But of
in
course,
a controlled environment.
yeah,
Sure,
but of course, as normal commuter-based stuff is, which is what these things are used for, any safety system added, better tire, better brake, better compound of brake pad, better metallurgy in the discs, anything adds to it.
This one more very crucial feature that everyone should have in the cars is the tire pressure monitoring system.
Hugely.
Yeah,
important.
because I mean, tire bursts are again a major cause of accidents in India, especially when you're driving on these concrete roads at high speeds.
That's right.
And people usually they're not in the habit of checking their tire pressures.
True.
And at that speeds, the air inside it expands. It heats
Correct.
up and it expands. And we all know what tire bursts do.
Yeah.
But I always appreciate manufacturers who come up with something new. Even if it is not the best feature in the world, it's an introduction of a feature to the general public. And if it makes life better, it makes life better. So I'll always appreciate manufacturers who are putting in the work in the R&D department. They're trying to, sort of harp on innovation, technology. Let's get something new to the audience. Let's just bring it in. And what really happens because of that is that other manufacturers take notice.
Yeah.
They'll start developing technologies on their own. And eventually, in a few years' time, that technology becomes cheap.
So
That's exactly what happened with, I think, power steering, for example.
yeah. So for example, do you know why all the Germans have moved from hydraulic to electric power steering?
Why is that?
It's because electric power steering, when Bosch came out with the EPS, the updated EPS systems, which were great. Porsche could put it in like their 911s and stuff like that because they didn't have a cost cap, but like a base model C-Class or like a price-sensitive BMW C-Class, Audi VW, etc. It was difficult for them to put it in because of the more expensive system, right? And of course, they had to change from hydraulic to electric, which meant re-engineering. But Bosch sort of forced them into it. Saying, this is what we have, this is what you're going to use. So everybody's moved to like EPS, which then means you can have ADAS functions in EPS because EPS is electronically controlled, hydraulic more difficult to control for these sort of safety suites. And thus we have this push towards ADAS. So it's also the OEM suppliers who are pushing this sort of newer tech. Yes, again, I agree, it's more expensive. And to the hardcore enthusiasts who wants hydraulic power steering, which is not necessarily better than electronic power steering anymore, fine. I mean, you are like 0.00001% of the population. But for the masses, it just makes more sense.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Both of you guys. Do you think vehicles getting expensive because of the addition of new features? I mean, one of the things is the addition of new features. Do you think that's justified?
No, I don't think it should be justified because, but then this is what the customers want. So I'm no one to decide here. The way I look at it, cars used to be a lot more simpler, functional, but now it's all about having the most spec, having the bigger screens and wireless connectivity and ADAS and, electronic adjustments and this and that. It does complicate your ownership of the cars. Obviously, having these many electronics, chances of something going wrong is right up there. And it does happen. If you are leaving your car parked and you're out on a vacation, chances of a rat coming in and just screwing up your car. And that ends up being like, could be a 20,000 worth repair, could be a lakh worth repair, who knows what wire he decides to bite. I've heard usually they choose to bite on negative terminals. I'm not sure if that is right or not. Who knows? So
Today I'm not feeling positive. Yeah, let me
Read the negative side.
but this is what the market wants. I think the spending capacity has increased. People are also. So it's also an extension of what their living room or their bedroom looks like. They have screens, they have bigger TVs, they have
Bigger
air
phones.
conditioning, bigger phones.
yeah.
So the car is now an extension to all of this. It's now a lifestyle, and the transition from stepping in and out of your car has to be seamless.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it is justified. Obviously, if you want features, you have to pay for it. But then if you look at it, it's also about the social status and all of that. The variants being displayed on the car and what variant have you got? Is it a dual tone? What
I agree.
wheels and all of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, but that I
It
think the
is.
variant display is sort of gone away now. It used to be a
has.
huge thing.
Yeah. Back
when
in the
we
day,
were
so
kids.
yes.
Like the difference between variants.
VXI.
Yeah. Oh, the
ZXI
ZXI,
Maruti
ZXI.
when it came out. You were
ZXI
the
went over the
king
top of
the hill.
having the ABS
ZXI
sticker.
ABS.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Swift, yeah.
ZXI Plus.
Okay, so
What do you think?
so I'm gonna be devil's advocate. First of all, look, let's be very honest and blunt about this. The manufacturer is not there to do charity. It's a business.
Of course.
Right? He's providing you a means of transport. They are making profits. If they were not making profits, they would not give us cars. And everybody who cribs about, they're making SUVs. If Porsche wasn't making the Cayenne, the 911 wouldn't exist, right? Stuff like that. Same with Lamborghini, for example. But digressing. But if you are putting in more features, it's a cost that's added on to the car. If you're not going to increase the price of the car accordingly, you aren't going to be making money, which means you aren't going to be making the car in the first place. These added features sometimes add vanity, fine. Sometimes add safety, also fine. Sometimes it's a mix of both. Easiest example, daytime running lights. Right? People think it's a visual thing. It's not. It's actually a safety thing. Daytime running lights came about because in the Scandinavian countries they made it mandatory to have daytime running lights. Earlier daytime running lights were just like the low beams on. If you remember the Ninja, just had the low beam on all the time, right? Just that light being on, like for example today when I ride a scooter, any scooter, bike, whatever, it's on low beam like 24 hours a day. Doesn't matter what time of the day or night I'm riding it. Because it's making my vehicle a little more visible. Daytime running lights, that's the main thing. That's the main idea. Same with LED tail lamps and stuff. It's there because it makes it better visually. The manufacturer doesn't necessarily want to spend a lot more money into putting LEDs in your tail lamps, right? It's also energy efficient. So the S-Class, the last generation S-Class was the first car in the world to have only LED lighting everywhere.
Which car is it?
The last gen S-Class.
S-Class. Okay.
The 222. Which came in 2014, was the first car ever to have only LED lighting. It wasn't necessarily out of vanity. It was better energy consumption, cleaner energy consumption because you're not giving heat emissions out. And also LEDs last much longer than regular bulbs do. And of course, it is also more safe because of brighter burning element. Each LED burns brighter, or runs brighter. Therefore, the visuals are better in terms of tail lamps at least. Yeah, I think it's justified. People want more features. I mean, phones are getting more expensive. Everything's getting more expensive. Raw materials are getting more expensive, right? Steel is more expensive. Aluminum is more expensive. We all know what's happening with microchips and silicon chips all over the world.
Yeah. Chip shortage.
So it's just going to, I mean, there is going to be a time when people just are going to get priced out of cars, but there'll always be cheaper-ish alternatives. And if you really notice what the main spending bracket today in India is, it's not the Alto anymore.
No, it has
It's
gone
not
higher.
the Wagon R
Yeah,
anymore.
it has gone up to
It's
SUVs.
it's the Desire and it's the Swift and it's the
Yeah, gone up
SUVs
to
and
the
stuff like that.
compact.
It's about 6 lakh to 8 lakh, 10 lakh rupees. Today with the kind of schemes you're getting with EMIs, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's not as good as it used to be like when we were kids and we had like 0% EMIs and stuff like that. Because that's when the market really wanted to like push spending on new cars, right? But even with, people saying, we're going to approach a recession, I mean, Indian car industry is doing probably better than it's ever done before.
Yeah,
It's heading
I
to a
agree.
point.
Yes.
And look at the waiting periods. They're all on
They're
cars
crazy.
that are 20, 30 lakh rupees.
Yeah.
Like today, the most asked question is, what car should I buy for 20, 25 lakh rupees? Right? What SUV should I buy for 20, 25 lakh rupees? That's
Because the
question
spending
we get asked.
capacity is also
And
gone
today
up.
nobody wants to buy like a 10 lakh rupee car because like the 10 lakh rupee car is, it's like a no man's land area.
Yeah. Also, when people buy cars in general, I think they'll always go for like a slightly higher spec. Higher spec variant because you're pretty much getting everything.
Everything you need. So my
Earlier back in the day, people used to buy these small cars and then used to retrofit
Yeah.
things. Retrofit your power windows, retrofit
True.
a screen, retrofit whatever.
Yeah.
But
So
now
there is
you're
still a
getting
market for
everything.
that.
There
There is
might
still a
be,
market
but the
for that.
percentage I feel has gone down.
It also depends on where you're geographically located. Like for example, in the north, people still buy LXI, VXI versions a lot.
Acha.
VXI, Swift in Delhi, Desire, very popular.
Okay.
When you go down south, it's all top of the line versions mainly. Cities like Bombay, all top of the line versions
Yeah.
mostly. It's also it's geopolitical, geo-economical, etc. But otherwise, in general, my thing is very, very, my advice has always been very, very standard. If you have a budget which you don't want to move from, and if you can't afford a particular variant, go down one level and buy the like top spec variant. So if you have like an 18 lakh rupee budget, but you can't afford like a top of the line Creta, but you can afford a Creta, don't buy it and buy like a top of the line Venue instead. Because you're going to get more from your car than the top of the line Creta. And also it holds value, I think, a little bit better.
I just want to circle back to how technology is extending to, there's a connection between man and machine and stuff like that. Aether, when they came up with their newest 450X, they changed the layout of the screen. The display had a completely new layout. And one of the things that they said was they want the experience that you have on your smartphone
To be the same.
to be there on your scooter as well. So it doesn't look too different.
They've done a really good job.
So the time, the signal, and all of that is on your top right, as it would be on your mobile phone. And it's very neatly stacked. I'm not a big fan. I still like the older version. But they just thought that this connection between man and machine should be very seamless. And that's why this change in layout.
Yeah.
It's
So-
really cool.
For me, if I was to ever buy a new car today, I just wouldn't buy one without Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, I agree.
Like my phone needs to be on my, not physically, but that extension of my phone on my screen across models has just standardized driving to a point where if it's not there, it feels weird.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, people keep cribbing about, oh, why do I need screens and all. But it's a very, very small population of old farts that complain about it. Or not necessarily old as in old age-wise, but like
People who just drive from their home to their
or pseudo enthusiast, something like. Because I
Now
a real
you've triggered
enthusiast
the
wants-
comment section. Yes, sir.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I don't really care because there are a bunch of enthusiasts who are like completely against all of this stuff. But listen, it makes your life in the car easier.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So why would you not like opt for it? Yeah, it's not that much more expensive.
You know, one of the things that I really hate is sticking my phone to the phone holder. And I
Oh,
wish
I
my
hate
car
it.
had a CarPlay and it would just have been like a seamless solution.
You can. I mean, you literally have plug and play options for your car.
I know, but
Stock like factory options.
I know.
I mean, that's the good thing about a VW group car, right? Like the compatibility cross models is
Is pretty much that.
unbelievable.
That's great. Superb. Okay, we'll move on to the next thing.
Which is
Let's
features
talk-
that you hate.
No, features that you absolutely love first and then you hate. So we'll love first. The one feature that you absolutely love
It has
in a car.
In a car, right? It has to be wireless and/or auto and Apple CarPlay.
Okay.
Because you sit in the car and immediately you have your maps and screen and everything. You have your Spotify, you have Google Maps, you have even when you get WhatsApp, you can see who sent you the message. It's not just a beep. You can see the name, or you can customize it. I think you can. That I think is the current favorite feature. Yeah.
Okay. Super. What about you?
Two, I've just spoken about Apple CarPlay, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to performance cars in particular, I love valved exhausts
Okay.
because there are going to be times where you just want to turn the car down and like cruise. So, for example, the GT4 RS that we drove recently, right? Maniac, complete lunatic of a car. But you put in comfort with the valved exhaust off, which means like the full exhaust is active. Oh, sorry, the quieter exhaust is active. And it becomes like a normal Cayman.
Yeah, man.
And
I drove it
in
as
which
well.
case it drives like a normal VW product.
Yeah, it does.
Like it's as easy to drive as like a Polo is. And it's that sort of cross compatibility. No, not compatible. I think that's the wrong word. Dude. The sort of like Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing is unbelievable in these modern cars. And it's not the case with older cars. Even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you could turn off like the exhausts or like the butterflies on like the exhaust. The car would still remain like quite like sprung and like hardcore and stuff, especially for like higher end like hardcore cars. It's just this sort of capability of like this. I can relax when I want to, and I can be an absolute lunatic when I. But otherwise, generally Apple CarPlay. For me, Apple CarPlay and a nice screen
Yes.
is just like on
It
the
just
top of my
makes
list. And
us
I'm
happy.
huge
sorry
difference,
if this
yeah.
is something you disagree with, but it's my opinion.
Yeah, that's okay.
I think ventilated seats would be on that list.
That's
as
second
well.
on my
Oh
list.
man,
Yeah.
I feel
That's second on my
ventilated-
list.
Yes.
Ventilated seats that actually work well because some of them are absolute rubbish. Some of them make noise and all, that's fine. I still want to turn them on. The first thing I do, I remember when I had the Virtus long term, I had a sequence. Start button, sport, like this thing mode,
Yeah.
start stop off, ventilated seats on.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I think, yeah, I don't remember which car I was driving, but one of the systems was making a weird noise. Yeah, it's like
What is-
wheezing sound. No, not the Virtus, some other car.
What system?
The
Ventilated
ventilated.
seat?
The
yeah.
Maruti stuff makes a little bit of a racket as well.
I don't remember that.
So also you have the blow types and the suck types.
You did a very
Yeah,
Cyrus reel on
where
it.
one of them like you can one of the seats
We
like, takes
understood
it
what
in,
blow and suck means.
and one of them that blows it out.
Anyway,
But
moving
which
on.
one do you like? Do you like the one that blows?
No,
in, or do you like
I'll
the
move
one-
on to what I like on motorcycles.
Have you ever had a motorcycle with cool seats? Does the Goldwing offer it?
I
Yeah, I know heated seats are an option.
Heated, yeah.
Heated.
That's the problem, man. A lot of these features that you see on big end motorcycles, they're more for European countries, like heated grips. Cruise control.
Where
stuff
touring
like that.
is an activity that people indulge in.
Yeah,
I mean, when
and
in
it's
the US,
enjoy. As
like
in
when you have a straight
you
line.
can do that a lot more outside
You
of
have
the
bike
country.
ADAS? You have bike ADAS now,
Yeah,
don't you?
so the adaptive cruise control is is
Shumi's
there.
bike had that, didn't it?
The multi has it. But anyway, I feel on a motorcycle you're just so connected with the motorcycle. In a car you have so much real estate and so many features that you can add and experience. But on a motorcycle it's very compact, and I think safety is one of the bigger things when you're on a motorcycle. And for me, that the thing that I absolutely love is ABS. There's no doubt about it. In fact, traction control and the whole electronics package that keeps you safe. In fact, when we get big motorcycles to test at PowerDrift, I don't care if I open the throttle full whack. I know the
Full what? Wank.
full, yeah, exactly, yeah. I wouldn't care because I know that there is a red light that will keep flashing if I'm losing traction or if the front wheel starts to sort of float. Yeah, I know everything is gonna be taken care of. Even when we were launching the S1000RR and 2 years ago, we were doing a launch sequence for the 10R, and everybody was like, we were doing this at Lavasa and Tamini, and people are like, you'll just dump the clutch, and I was like, yeah, just dump the clutch. And that's it's as simple as that.
They had launch control.
You just dump the clutch, electronics kick in, you have the best launch ever.
Yeah, I mean, even with cars, the modern like launch systems and all are so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. Dude, Street Fighter, we were doing S2S and I was launching the Street Fighter and I was
I
so
remember that.
scared because I felt because there's no weight on the front, you're sitting upright, and I thought the front wheel's just going to float.
Nothing.
Do nothing. It's just scary, the experience, because
Yeah.
there's little weight and you're
Holding
going
on to it.
fast. But it's just electronics, man. It's a
I
game changer.
you realize how quick these bikes are when you're in a really quick car, like a really, really quick car, and the bike just makes you think like you're standing still.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I would still be in a car 365 days, 10 out of 10 times, maybe 9.5 out of 10 times. But
150 in a car versus 150 on a motorcycle.
of course, 150 in a car
There's
seems
no
pedestrian to
denying.
me.
Exactly. It just feels
It
nothing.
feels pedestrian to me today. I mean, apart from the fact that the gong keeps going off and telling you over speeding, but
Yeah.
isn't the I mean my NTalk now, it's just come back from a service a few months ago and it done an update, and it says if after you cross 80 it says speed limit crossed.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Not necessary. Nobody's looking down the bloody thing.
Your Ntox going 80
After you being on
after
it,
you being on it.
Triple digits after.
wasn't my.
Come on. There's
I'll send you a picture.
Clearly, guys, TVS, there's a speed of error. Anyway,
You won't believe it.
100 plus. Chalo. Let's
Mind
move
the,
on to
mind the carb. The first. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's move on to the features that you hate.
I think you should start this.
We're literally 30 minutes in and we've not discussed this. So please, let's actually start the discussion now.
And this is how we actually sort of decided to do this podcast. One of the features that I hate in a car. Sunroof. It serves no purpose. It serves zero purpose. It's being misused. It serves no purpose. I don't know why the hell are you like disappointed? Like
I like
you
sunroof.
like, exactly, and so does Karan, and so even he likes it. For
I
some
am
reason.
a huge proponent of the sunroof. I love them.
I
The bigger
hate
ones,
it.
right?
All
It's
of them.
the
All of them.
worst
All of them.
feature in a car ever.
Okay.
It's such a European feature.
That's it's and
Are you keeping the sunroof open when it's 40 degrees?
Hey,
No.
even heated
okay.
grips on a bike is a European
Of course it is
feature,
useless.
so-
Of course, I'm going to come to that.
No.
Okay,
Of course,
okay,
I'm going to
okay.
come to that.
okay. Apart from the
tell
summer
me
months.
why it is not
Apart from the
useless.
summer months where you really genuinely can't use sunroof open, I've always had even the glass pane is closed. The divider, like the normal, the plastic divider or the cloth divider is always open
Why?
because it just makes the car a little more airier. It makes
If
it brighter.
you want
it
to
makes
make
it-
the
No,
car-
not airier as in air coming in, you dumbass.
it's here. Just stop the car, get out of the car, and it automatically starts spinning.
No, it doesn't. No, listen, there is.
Guys, people who are listening to this podcast, can you think about this? If you open the cloth curtain, it makes the car aerial.
I agree.
Yeah,
with
it does.
No!
it
It
does.
does.
It does.
It does, especially in cars which feel cramped on the inside.
Cramped on the inside. So
There
just
are
get
cars-
a bloody bigger car.
Come on. There are cars that feel smaller. There are cars that feel cramped on the inside. And look, all fairness, and this has been very well documented on social media. I absolutely hate idiots who stick out of the sunroof.
yeah, it's like a
Okay, it's the
drone shot.
stupidest thing to do. Also, because I have seen somebody die doing that.
After getting hit by a tree or something?
No, I have seen somebody die. The guy braked hard. His child flew out of the sunroof, and the car ran over his own child.
What are you saying?
Yeah. On a highway, it wasn't a pleasant memory. I never want to actually relive that memory ever again in my head, and it still gives me the creeps when I think of it. It happened on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. It
And
was
anyway,
horrible.
people still do it, yeah.
People still do it. I've also heard of not rumors. You've seen news articles where during the kite flying festival days, people's head have been People have been literally decapitated,
Yes.
and like it's just dumb. And like people think, oh, I'm being an old uncle. Yeah, okay. My child is never getting out of the sunroof. You know, my wife keeps saying, oh, it's so nice. We can have a sunroof. She can put her head out. No, it's not happening. Never happening.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah. But I don't know.
But I
The
will
area
always
thing,
like
I mean, of
sunroofs.
course, it's your opinion and
Also,
what you feel.
I think I come from a slightly older thinking, sort of older era where a sunroof was only on like really high-end cars, and the fact that a car or any car had a sunroof was just like ultra cool back in the day. And yes, it is a European feature. It is for those few days in the UK, that those whatever European continental summers where they can have the roof down. It's not very very hot, so they can sort of enjoy the weather or whatever. But I love it.
Like,
It also looks cool, like when you just lift it from the rear, and then you just drive it around. Obviously,
I hate that
you hate that
because
This
there's
lift?
a little whistle.
yeah.
So either you have it
airflow.
open, and then
But in
there's
this-
enough ambient noise. You have it open. I have it open, and the windows down.
Yes.
So then there's ambient noise generally. Because if that little thing is open, it's just like as if there's an air leak somewhere, as if like a window sliding.
But if you're in the
down.
city just driving around, it just looks cool.
Also,
on some cars, not on all
also,
cars.
if you have a sunroof and you can do that to actually get the heat out after you've parked your car.
You can just open the door.
No. When you're moving.
What if you're in a tight parking space?
when when you're moving, if you have the
I'll
sunroof crank
just
little
roll
bit,
down the windows.
No, that helps because if you have the AC
You're not
on,
winning this against me.
If you have the AC on,
Barely.
the hot
I'm
air
not
is on
converting.
top. No, you don't
Not
have to convert. That's the
converting.
point of the
I
whole
hate
discussion.
sunroofs.
That's
Okay.
fine. And you don't have to convert because that's the whole point of it. Of course, in India, the other problem with the sunroof, and this is a legit problem, is maintenance of the sunroof, maintenance of the sort of crevices around it, the drainage slots and stuff. People don't maintain it. Then water starts leaking in, and it's a big issue. It is a big issue. I'd still have one.
Sure.
I just
What
would-
is
I
it?
mean-
Okay, Vipul. The one feature that you do not like at all.
He just said this, didn't he? No, he's not. said it.
Don't like
Yeah, he
apart
said
from
he
a s-
likes it.
I love sunroofs. I would have one if I was to buy a car. One feature that I hate. Have you ever used speed dependent volume?
Oh, yeah. Mini.
You have?
No, not Mini. What car has it?
A
A lot of cars have it,
Almost
yeah.
every, even the Citroen EC3 has it.
Oh, God. It's
You don't like it?
What is the use? Like you have your favorite track playing, okay? And you're driving, and obviously you're overtaking, and then all of a sudden you're having a conversation, and all of a sudden it's like wait, I need to turn this down. I hate that feature.
But
and
it's switchable, no?
It is switchable,
Yeah,
but then
probably.
why do you
Have
have
it in the first place. Yeah, good point.
I've never seen anyone use it.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
I hate start stops. Start stops.
I
I
actually
Oh, yeah,
like-
man.
I like
hate
them.
start stops. It annoys me, especially on a manual.
Is it
Manuals
because you
have it?
can't find the button because you hop in different cars?
No.
every now and then?
My
Okay.
standard thing is just to turn it off. Doesn't matter
Okay.
what I
Oh, the
drive.
start stop. Okay, the traffic. Okay.
Oh, not the
The
start stop button.
auto
Okay.
start
Auto
stop.
start
Auto start
like
stop.
the mild
Okay.
hybrid auto
I hate
start
that
stop.
too. And yes, I switch it off.
First thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Because it gets really annoying, especially when you're parked on those long signals.
Yeah, and then you like let go and then there's nothing.
Yes. And that weird smell of the compressor not working and it's just
Yeah.
blowing that cold air and it has that little
Yeah,
smell
also
to it.
because we need the AC on in India all the time because it's just really, really
Yes.
hot otherwise.
Yes.
It's another problem.
One feature that you do not like, is it
I
that?
just said
Oh,
that.
that's the one.
Yeah.
One feature.
Also, another thing I really is the speed beeps.
Oh, of course. Who doesn't?
I feel.
But it helps.
It's okay.
It helps. It does help.
With what?
I went for a trip recently with my kid in the back seat sleeping, and I kept under a certain speed limit because under the 120 km/h speed limit because I didn't want it to wake up. As simple as that. So it made me drive slower than normal, which is safer. So again, it saves. It does save lives. It does.
Of course it does.
Because people are like drivers are gonna get like told off if they're driving their sibes in the back, or like your wife is gonna tell you off, or like your friends are gonna tell you off, saying, "Dude, what like turn it down." It's annoying. So you're just gonna go slower. Of course, people are gonna sometimes ignore it and just put the volume up. And of course, in some cars you can turn it off, like you can tune it out. So I believe, I'm not gonna say what manufacturer it is, but in some manufacturers, if you change the region of where you were in the control system, it didn't work. If you just put it, if you just in the control, you said instead
Has
of
to be
India,
one of the German cars.
Yeah. Instead of India, you just put like UK or something.
Yeah.
It would disconnect the speed.
What are you
Wow.
saying?
Yeah.
That's a great hack.
Now people are going to say,
No, it's not
side
something.
effects over.
Yeah.
I just told me.
But otherwise, I don't think there are any like really like features that I.
Don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like lap belts. I obviously like a 3-point this thing.
You know, one of the,
I hate normal cars with LED headlamps
what do you define a normal car?
Oh, because
or
the
any LED headlamps. Most LED headlamps.
No, define a normal
The-
car.
like Cretas or even like
and
Why
he
is
has a
that?
very good reason.
Why is that?
they're shit.
Yeah, they don't work.
Okay.
Especially when it rains,
Dude,
when
they
the
are
weather is
absolutely
bad.
horrible.
But yellow
I'll
lights
give-
are better anyway, no?
Yes.
When it
not
rains.
that. No.
Of course.
So if you have like a matrix or a laser lamp,
Oh, Matrix is again
like
expensive.
the laser
no?
stuff is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
like
But it's again very
oh
expensive.
yeah, of course.
It's
But
an expensive
otherwise,
technology.
give me halogens all day long.
They don't work
Custom-
at all.
custom
They don't work
Like
at all.
illumination with most of the Hyundai cars, like with the Verna,
It's a
with
big,
the Creta,
big,
it's
big
a problem.
And especially if you put aftermarket lamps on, aftermarket bulbs or aftermarket HIDs on like lamps that are not designed to do that, it's a big problem. But strangely, the one manufacturer who does an aftermarket LED bulb into a normal casing and does phenomenal lighting is Tata Motors. So if you take a Nexon for example, I did it on my Bolt when I had the Bolt. I know the Nexon does the exact same thing because I've done it for a friend. You take and the bulbs in the projector are bulbs. They're not like HID projectors that we used to get earlier. So you can change them. So put like an LED bulb in that, or put a normal halogen in that, and the high beam LED, the throw is phenomenal. Like
Okay.
It's
We
because
don't
of
know
the
how.
projector lens.
no, it's not. It's not a projector in the high beam. It's a normal reflector.
Okay.
But it's
Reflector that
it's
good,
a
huh?
smaller reflector, and the throw is phenomenal. It's on all Tata cars.
Right.
It's on every single one that they've made. The Nexon has it. My Bolt just had like when
My
we
Zest
upgraded.
has it as well.
Yeah.
It has that projector
Really?
setup.
So-
But the
Okay.
projector, the LED is average, but the high beam
Is damn good.
is unbelievable, and you have to literally drive on low beam all the time because it's very, very good. Like the high beam, is very nice.
You know, one of the things that works really well on cars but does not work as well on motorcycles in India is cruise control. Cruise control is just not capable.
Cruise
It
control
doesn't work well on cars either.
on
No,
cars as
see,
well.
I mean,
Adaptive does.
You can still
Slightly
use it
better.
on
Use it, yeah,
highways. You can still use it on expressways where you have a certain speed limit, and you can stick and just steer. But on motorcycles in India aren't allowed on most of the
The
expressways.
expressways, yeah.
And if you're on a national highway where the rest of the crowd is,
And dogs
Cruise-
and cattle and
yeah,
everyone.
it just
Pedestrians.
doesn't
Dudes, yeah, people running across tractors,
It
trucks coming
just-
the wrong way in the fast lane.
it
Everything.
doesn't work. And thankfully this tech is still with big motorcycles. It's not come down to the smaller
Yeah, I
motorcycles
don't think it
yet. No, it will. It's a matter
it?
of time. It will.
Cruise
One of the
control on like
adventure
a 156
motorcycles
Acha,
in the lower segment will get it, and then the rest
Probably
of the industry
KTM,
will
yeah.
follow suit. But I feel personally, one of the things that I want in a car, and this is so stupid, it might sound stupid, but I really, really think an automatic system, like an automatic gearbox, is, for me, is great.
Now he's going to speak.
100%.
No, dude,
No, I love
Mumbai
it.
and Pune,
Automatic, you said things
It's
that
great.
Is great.
He loves
okay.
it.
It's great. I
Okay,
love
fine.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Okay, fine.
We
fine,
just
fine.
had this long discussion with the
Yes.
chimney where I said like everybody like, or even other in general, my opinion is that just buy a new car. If you buy a new car, just buy a bloody automatic.
Okay,
yeah.
now speaking about automatic transmissions, I hate cars that get paddle shifters for no good reason.
CVT is paddle shifter.
CVT paddle shifters for what? Like, why does the Honda
Yeah.
City still do it? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Although it does change ratio, doesn't it?
it does. It
prompts
does.
the change of ratio.
Yes, but people don't drive that car enthusiastically.
Yeah.
They don't. And the car is smart enough. The transmission is smart enough to alter that ratio
yeah.
by itself.
But I think it's just the
Like having paddle shifters in a diesel Fortuner. Okay, maybe when you're going off-roading, you might want to use it. Having paddle shifters in something like the Hyundai Venue.
Yeah.
Does the Venue have
N-line,
that?
the
The
N-line
N-line,
gets
okay,
it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Still justified, but there are some cars.
Sure.
But the N-line, I've used them.
You've used them?
Yeah, going down
Me
the
and you, I
expressway,
think we would.
hard on the brakes.
Yeah,
Going
and
down the
I
road.
think it's people.
Also on the DCT, I think it's
different.
more reactive. As compared to CVT with paddle shift.
Doesn't make any sense.
AMT with paddle shift.
The only thing that I feel
From-
my car is missing right now is an 80.
You can put one in. I mean, it's not that
No,
much.
no.
We'll put a
I'd
1.8
rather-
swap also.
No, no, thanks.
I want to
Anyway,
build one. I want to build a Vento 1.8. Yeah.
good luck with that. You want to build a lot of things and you want to buy a lot of things and you want to sell
I just
a lot
bought
of
another
things.
car though.
That is a separate episode.
I bought
But
another car
anyway,
yesterday.
Another thing that I would want to point out here is how manufacturers have started using the term rear AC vents. I think they're just blowers. They are technically just blowers.
The two types though.
Yeah, but the Massey cars, most of them are blowers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing, because of where they're placed, they end up cooling the
Testicles.
knee, testicles or your knee or whatever, instead of your face. And they don't really solve any purpose. If that vent is shut off and it's only cold air blowing from the front without all that passage through the center compartment, it ends up cooling faster. So why have that feature?
I think because people want some sort of airflow towards them, not necessarily chilled airflow, but an airflow. So, for example, when I drive, right, I need the vents to be on my hands.
Sweaty
Yeah,
palms.
Because sweaty, yeah. And between the two front middle vents,
are
I
your
want
knees
one
weak
to be,
when your palms are sweaty?
Yeah, very. Mom's spaghetti also. And the left side vent, the passenger side vent, I turn it towards my face. I need a continuous cold air
Understood.
this thing on my face. That sounds very bad. But yeah, I mean AC. So the rear AC vent, I think the Innova does it like really, really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
The
one of the
roof-mounted stuff is just super.
But that's because it has two compressors, right? The Innova
I
does.
think it has a rerouting system where they actually reroute the cold air through. It's not just an HVAC system that's independent. They actually, because that's exactly why the Innova, the new one with the
High cross.
with the high cross with the pano roof and the AC vent is like a very rare combination
Right.
because otherwise you get pillar mounted vents.
One of the chindi things that I do is when I'm driving alone, I'll switch off the vents for the co-driver.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Yeah, all of the air
lot
towards
of
That's
us
being
do that.
selfish, but okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. There's nobody around. So it's all right.
If you
Still.
get all the air towards you. Yeah.
Anyway, these are the features that we think were great. We think are great. And some of the features that we think are not so great. If you have any features that you would like to mention in the comment section, then please do that. Also, please support me by saying that sunroofs are not the best.
You're not going to get any comments in your favor.
Oh, you are
Let's see.
100%.
100%. All the biker boys will join in
no,
for
no,
powder.
the number of people who think sunroofs are stupid or like a useless feature is huge.
If it has to be used in the right way, but okay, we'll see what the comment
It's
section
huge.
has to.
Yeah, so as is the case the last couple of weeks, we're doing like a music playlist for you guys. We're gonna have one suggestion each from every host. And as I've said, when a guest comes on board, we can have 3 suggestions from that guest. They get a little bit of a more bonus sort of slot in the playlist. And of course, these suggestions, these songs are going to be in the descriptor below, and the link to these playlists are also going to be in the description below. Probably not on the first one, but
songs.
I've been doing it for the past
Every
few. I'm really bad.
I have written down this time.
Okay, let's go, Vipul. Let's go.
I start again. Okay. This time it is Waiting. This is Ellie and Fo's found version. Let me know if you like this, because this song, Rohan, I made him listen to this song and he put it on repeat. Almost for half the section that we were driving from Goa to Pune.
Nice.
So he really loved the song, and so I absolutely love it. Let me know.
Yeah.
It is a really nice track. But
Waiting
okay.
by?
Alien Force Found remix. The song is originally by Camel Fat.
Okay.
Okay.
He always comes up with like these.
Artists
I
that you've
love-
never heard of.
Never heard of.
Same here.
I love house music.
Yeah.
I love European
it's a house
house
track.
music, so
Yeah.
that's why. And if time permits, I might just take up some DJing course. And I
Nice.
love sound music, so that's a passion.
You know the funny thing, I had this exact phase like about 10 years ago where I used to listen to like no, I used to listen to like some very like obscure artists and stuff. And I went back to like what I like. Mine this week, actually no, let's do yours first.
I'm going with Rolling Stones. Gimme Shelter.
Nice.
Very
good
similar. Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. Judas Bloody Priest, man.
Super. We're going to drop these links in the
The
in the
two-
description.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lovely.
the two bands I need to see live in my life: Judas Priest and Queen.
Yeah. I've
That's
got
it.
one more suggestion, but for the next
Oh,
Ah,
one.
next
save
time.
it for the next one.
Yeah, don't worry.
Absolutely.
Every
Next
week
podcast.
now.
Done.
We have like 100 suggestions. Don't worry. We do that there.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for watching the PowerDrift Podcast. We'll see you in the comments. Also, we'll see you in the audio format on Apple, Google, and wherever
Spotify.
podcast is available. Video, of course, on YouTube. If you have any suggestions on what we should do next, drop those suggestions in the comment section as well. And see you soon.